You're gonna be a great mom.
How did you know?
Sweetie, I've had 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. I know an expecting mother when I see one.
Hello everyone and welcome to Geek Academy channel. I'm your detective host Igor, and today we are going to analyze from season 2 episode 9. A lot of interesting conversation, a lot of interesting clues in this episode. But before we begin, as usual, I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon. Your donations is what makes this channel possible. Thanks to you, I will never run out of motivation. Now, let's dive in. And we're going to begin with this guy. For the sake of this video, let's call him a moron, because he doesn't deserve us to remember his name. So he has the same scar that Ankui children, Jim, the doll in the trailer for season 3 have, but in a different place, on a cheek, not on the forehead. So probably it's nothing, but when you see some similarities, you usually want to share them. At least I do. If I notice, I share. You remember me saying this many times, because I always want to share with you everything that I find. Now, when we move forward, there is a conversation between Boyd and Kenny and Moran here, and Moran tells everybody that he was trying to wake her up. He was trying to wake his girlfriend up when she was dreaming and having this nightmare. Now, if you remember, in the previous video we talked about why some people were able to escape the music box, like Kenny for example, and some couldn't, like Mariel. And I argued that both Kenny and Elgin were woken up before the music stopped. And here, he tried to wake her up and it didn't really work, she exploded. So maybe it's either my theory was completely wrong, or those forces are becoming stronger and stronger and waking up is not gonna help anymore, like it helped with Kenny and Elgin. Also, it's kind of a little bit different for me why some people are exploding, some people are getting away with just a small burn on their hand, and some people are being taken to the cellar in order to be tortured, and whatever is happening with them. We're gonna discover more about this in episode 10. Now, when we move forward, once again, something cracked. As I told you, it's kind of looked a little bit like the usual monster kill. Monsters are usually ripping people apart and taking their insides out, usually from the stomach and the chest area. It looks very similar, but you can see her leg. It's very weird pose, like some may even see the number 4 here. I don't know who, probably maniacs like me. But also when we zoom into those, whatever they are, like salt and pepper or something like this, why there are 4 of them? Because you know, when you show something like this to crazies like us, and everything that is somehow connected to the numbers 4 and 7, we immediately notice, like, why there are 4? Probably, once again, not something serious and not like, ooh, a clue here, we found a clue. But once again, I notice, I share. So when we move forward, this thing, I wasn't able to understand what the hell is this. This is some kind of a table. It looks like a poker table, but it's not, okay? And some kind of game probably. I tried to find something through ChatGPT, through Google, both of them failed me. But I have something way better than ChatGPT and Google, and it's you guys and girls, because usually in your comments you always notice something that I don't. So please, if any of you knows what the hell is that, write me in the comments and I'm gonna talk about it in the next video. And when we move forward, we have here Sarah, and I have a lot of questions to her. We kind of buying already her redemption arc. She saved Boyd, she was a good, nice girl for the last couple of episodes. She was kind of being bullied by Kenny, which made us feel good for her, bad for her, like whatever you want. Like, yeah, she's a nice person, but then she starts telling to us that it felt wrong when she was in the forest, and it feels wrong right now. So if it did feel wrong in the forest and right now, when did it feel right? When the voices told you to kill Ethan, or when they told you to kill Kenny's father? Or when they told you to take like a weapon and basically butcher Toby there? So those moments kind of felt right for you? I don't know, something is not working here for me in this moment. Now, also when we move forward, we have some new theory about where are the nightmares coming from? And this time Sarah is telling us that maybe it's from our own nightmare. Like Nathan, for example, was always terrified of cicadas, and when they were kids, their stepfather would take them to the place and there were cicadas there, and Nathan was like, oh no, I'm scared, and Sarah was like, no, don't be scared, and then they were all scared. Now once again you can see here that missing father again. All the time we're talking about grandmas, missing father. For example, Boyd here lost his father to Parkinson. We have Kenny losing his father. We have Elgin talking about his grandma. We're gonna have Bhakta here talking about her grandma also. So many grandmas, not many fathers. You kind of start noticing this here. Now, they were all afraid, and what if those fears of cicadas become part of the forest? So let's try to remember everybody who died. We have like Trudy, we have Kenny's father, the nurse girl that was there with them, Toby, we have Frank and his family, and we have Nathan. This is all I can remember, at least if you're not gonna take some NPCs from Colony House. Father Katri, of course, but when I try to remember if any of those characters had some specifically mentioned fears, I can only remember Kenny's father. He told Night scary. You remember, he was afraid of the night. Now, Night was kind of scary even before Kenny's father arrived to this place, so I don't know if it somehow influenced. And regarding other characters, I don't remember them specifying some fears. Like maybe Father Katri is afraid of failing another child, but we haven't seen like a child running away after Father Katri telling me, don't fail me, I will find you if you fail me. None of it happened, so probably it's just some stupid theory by Sarah and it's not gonna work. Now when we move forward, like what if that really is Nathan Nightmare out there? Probably not. Once again, I don't want to be your monster anymore. And this is already closer to the end of this episode, when Sarah did her like the Russian roulette trick with the gun, and I kind of stopped in this sentence because you can interpret it usually like, yeah, of course she doesn't want to be a monster because like people can be monsters. Unfortunately, we have a lot of those in our world. We don't need even TV shows for that. But maybe she was actually talking about her fear, like she's thinking that because Kenny sees in her monster, she is his nightmare. This is why she really wants to redeem herself in his eyes, because she doesn't want to become a monster after her death or something like this. Once again, just spitballing here, something for you to think about. And when we move forward, we too, Ellis. Yeah, we too. He's talking to Christy here and he's saying that he's kind of afraid that his child is gonna come out with fangs and claws. I'm so sorry, Alice, but please don't go to Reddit. You have no idea how many theories there are about your kid coming out with claws, fangs, wings, I don't know what else, but there are a lot of theories about your child, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a normal kid with a very special destiny or something like this. And when Christy is talking to Alice, she is explaining him about the magic ball of fire. And since this is the name of the episode, it kind of felt important, like what are the creators want to tell us in this dialogue between Christy and Alice. Why is it so important for us to actually stop and think about the magic ball of fire, which is obviously sun? Because we live in a world where there are a lot of magical, mystical, unbelievable things that are working, and we can accept them because this is just the way they are. Nobody thinks every 5 minutes, oh my god, I'm not flying in the air because there is gravity. And we can accept that there is this invisible force that keeps us from floating outside to the outer space. Also, the magic ball of fire. There's like millions of light years from us, there's like a big ball of fire, and it's responsible for creating all of the life on our Earth. And this is also sounds ridiculous if you like somebody who just arrived to this Earth without knowing its history, without knowing its science, and somebody's gonna tell you something like this, you're gonna be okay, I live in the fantasy world, this is Middle Earth, this is Lord of the Rings, something here is magical. I don't believe it. And what I think the creators are trying to tell us is that basically everything that is spiritual or understandable, not understandable to us, sorry, is very, very logical, is something that can be really easily explained, and as soon as it's gonna be explained, we're gonna be like, ah, of course, this is how it's supposed to work. So maybe, once again, this is a big maybe, the explanation here is not gonna be like magical, mystical, like somebody did the Avada Kedavra and everybody died, but it's gonna be closer to scientific explanation. So basically there is a power, there is a force, it was utilized, closer to the explanation that we got in Lost, even though there were also a lot of like mystical, pretty like not of this world explanations. So yeah, around a giant ball of magic fire that keeps us warm, and we go to the images. Now, most of the images we already seen and analyzed in the previous episode, so we're not gonna touch them again, but when we move forward we can see there is a faraway tree, next to it probably a usual very skinny tree, bad skinny tree, and of course some crows, because what else can it be like? It's not gonna be parrots, only crows in this place. Some flowers, and I really don't remember seeing any like big red flowers next to the faraway tree. And also this can be somebody just scratched with a pen, or it kind of looks like a spider. Also pretty interesting. Now, when we move forward, there's like a lot of sad people. Usually in those drawings by Eloise or by Victor, people that are sad, these are normal people. They're pretty sad. If you're gonna come to Fromville, you're gonna be sad for at least a couple of days, until you're gonna get to the colony house and you're gonna get some medicine there. Now, here at this image we have like a lot of smiling faces, and usually when we see smiling faces, those are the monsters, because they always walk with their smile and they're like, I'm smiling, I'm gonna eat you. And this one, I first thought maybe it's somehow eaten, because there's like a stick next to him. He has a bad mouth, something very bad with his mouth, but it looks like that from this stick there is some kind of smoke that's coming out. Maybe it's turning to clouds even. Yeah, I have no idea if it's a happy family or it's all of the monsters, and this one, the big one, is kind of afraid of them. At least this is how it looks. Now here we have the conversation between Tabitha and Jade. And as I told you in the beginning of this video, most of the interesting things from this episode are conversations. So when Tabitha and Jade are talking about the images, Jade notices they're the Civil War soldiers, and he's like saying, what the hell is a 10-year-old girl seeing the same images that I'm seeing right now 40 years later? And then Tabitha tells, so this is basically from the stories that his mother used to tell. And I'm like, right away, Crummy Knuckle, all of the flashbacks like coming back to me. So we talked about it a couple of times already. There is something with story related to understanding Fromville. Like there is a lot of parallels between Crummy Knuckle, and now Tabitha is telling us that all of the images, they are basically stories that their mom told them. So are they invented stories, or she was just retelling to her kids what she already have seen? Now, if it's the second, she's probably the worst mom ever to happen, created. I don't know how else to say it, but it's like you are having nightmares, terrifying nightmares, and then you take both of your kids and like, okay kids, now I'm gonna tell you a story how I almost die. Let's all draw this together. Sounds a bit ridiculous, but if she was actually inventing those stories, so does the imagination of Victor and Eloise somehow made those stories real, or at least visibly real in this place? I don't know, let's think about it. So yeah, and Tabitha is talking about the lighthouse, and she's saying that she wanted to rescue the children that are locked in the tower, just like basically she wants to do, because she's having dreams. Did you notice? Dreams, not a dream, we have seen one, but she's having this from time to time to time to time. So it's probably something that it's sent to her. So who is sending her this dream? So once again, let's put our thinking cap together and try to come to some sort of a conclusion. Who can send those dreams? Now, if the dreams that we are seeing right now being sent to Elgin and Kenny and so on and so on and so on, probably were sent by the worms, the demons, okay? And if the boy in white can interfere those dreams and maybe somehow help, then yeah, the boy in white sending the dreams to Tabitha, and he wants her to come to the lighthouse because it's been a long time since he pushed anyone from the lighthouse, so he wants to push someone from the lighthouse, so he wants to bring Tabitha there. Or the boy in white and the worms and the demons are pretty much the same, and they're all sending those dreams and they're all working together. And I kind of think it's still the first. Like, I think that the boy in white wants to escape this place, and he understands that he needs to somehow use and utilize those people that right now they are his pawns, because he's playing chess while they still don't understand they are playing checkers even. So yeah, let's move forward. They want to walk up the tower, steps of tower, just like this. She was walking. What if they're just asking for my help? What if saving those children is how we all go home? You can notice that I don't go chronologically. This is already the end of the episode. Now, it's also kind of like, if it works, if really the boy in white wants Tabitha to save the children, because if you save the children, this is how you escape. So, why there were no children in the lighthouse? Where did they go? They want to go to the supermarket, buy some ice cream? It's not working. So, why the boy in white pushed her from the lighthouse in order for her to go outside, to the outside world? And we've seen already teaser for season 3. We've seen that the boy in white is going to be in the outside world. Tabitha is gonna see him, or she's having some hallucinations, but probably not. So he's, once again, as I'm saying to you, he's playing some game, and he's playing chess while everybody still don't understand they're playing checkers. He was the one to know that Tabitha is digging a hole in the basement and the house is gonna crumble and she's gonna end up in the tunnels. He sent Victor there in order to help her. Maybe he even planned that they're gonna see the Ankui children, and then the Ankui children gonna start hunting her, and then she will want to save them, and that will bring her to the lighthouse. Then the boy in white will do the Karate Kid move on her, she's gonna fall, go back to the outer world, and then the boy in white will keep pushing forward his plans. If it's so, yeah, I'm not exactly sure that he's a good guy. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the boy in white a little bit later. Now, let's continue with the story idea. So when Victor is talking to Ethan, he's saying, my mother used to say that everything is a story, and we are the ones who get to decide how it ends. Once again, it's like almost directly the creators are telling us, this is a freaking story and somebody's telling it. Who? Who is telling it? Is it a witch and the demon from the famous Terran theory about the witch and demon and other beings that are playing against each other? Is it something else? Is it the mind of the child, Victor, or maybe Ethan? Because of their imagination, somehow this place still is able to exist. I don't know, but it has to relate somehow to stories. And once again, let's move to the other timeline, to the other heroes. So we have here Donna, Randall, Jim, and Boyd, and they're experiencing once again not a very fun night. Screams in the distance. You remember we talked about it? Like, they used to scream, now they whisper. This is something that Boyd said to Sarah when they found the talisman. He was saying that basically after they found the talisman, they stopped screaming, they started to whisper, and now we can hear them screaming again. I think it started in episode 6 in season 2. Not 100% sure, but I think so. And some of you told me maybe it's because there were people outside, like in the beginning of season 2, there were people outside and they were killed. Yeah, it started way before. Thank you so much for reminding me that. And there were screams because people were outside. But here, once again, screams and nobody is outside. Everybody's inside. Everybody's protected by the talismans. So why did they start screaming again? What happened? In season 2, something happened that made them scream again. Now, when we move forward, none of it's real, right? We can see that they're coming, okay? The monsters are coming and they're kind of animatronic. Okay, just like Randall said. Now, I don't think they're like robots or something like this, but they're like 5 people from one exit and 4 people from the other. They were placed strategically in order to protect every exit. Or they understand this, or something that controls them understand this. And since they are very much gonna look like something controls them, I kinda tend to think there is some force that basically uses those monsters like we use characters in the PlayStation game. So yeah, if you remember, as I told you in the beginning of this episode, what are they, some kind of animatronic, blah blah blah, I'm Randall and I'm going insane. And yeah, they were pretty much animatronic. They were just standing and looking and waiting for something. What are they waiting for? Probably for this force that start pushing from under the ground. 47, come on. We're gonna notice the 47 like in every moment it's gonna appear. So if you remember, the music boxes, they usually tend to turn on at some very specific moment, like Boyd needs a sign, like Jim and Tabitha are fighting and they need to hear a song that's gonna remind them why do they love each other. And it's kind of felt similar to me. Once again, some troubles with electricity. Once again, there's like some kind of noise in the radio, and there's a new radio station 47 and we can hear the lullaby. So what is it? Is it some kind of like, oh, poltergeist, oh my god, you know, like there's usually in the movies something like a spirit comes and somehow it affects electricity, nobody understands how, but you know, like Dean and Sam Winchester need to see this in order to understand that there is a spirit and they need to shoot it with salt. Or maybe, as we spoke about it a couple of times, there are a couple of dimensions here in this place. We've seen people being in the same, in two different places simultaneously. So sometimes it looks like those dimensions overlap, just like the tree roots that we're gonna see in the next episode. And maybe when they overlap, you can basically contact the other side. We have the talisman with two people looking like from upside down on each other, so maybe this is what happens here and not just ooh, poltergeist, spooky. And here we can hear, see, some kind of thump. Thank you so much, subtitles, didn't know this word, learned something new today. And everybody's like, what the hell is going on, who lives under the ground? Obviously it's not SpongeBob SquarePants, it's something else. And if you remember, we noticed this drawing made by Victor, and there is like one big monster and it looks like it coming from under the ground. Maybe it's somehow related, or maybe once again there is the big bed, something that's been like probably kept in this place. All of the forcers here, they want to keep the big bed inside. Maybe it's the big bed we have seen already in the end of season 1 with the spiders and spiderweb. Maybe. Anyway, we move forward. There's some kind of weird box. I don't know why it looked weird for me, but it doesn't look like something you would take in a road trip with your family. It more looks like something from a military base, you know, this one 010, whatever it is. Once again, I can be wrong here, I can be completely wrong. And here we can see electricity zapping, high-pitched whining. There was no high-pitched whining, but there was like a lot of electricity zapping. As I told you, not even one Winchester here to deal with this shit. So we can see here that when Randall escapes, all of the monsters from his side that were safeguarding his exit, they were like, okay, we go left, let's go left after Randall. And then when we see that Donna and Jim leaving, they're just standing and watching. They're like, who gives a shit about Donna and Jim? We are here for Boyd. We are waiting. They were kept waiting. So either they really wanted that something will happen to Boyd, or they just waited for the moment where Abby's gonna appear and then they're gonna follow Boyd. Like here, when Boyd already left, they're like, okay, the conversation happened, okay, we're gonna follow you now. Yeah, no Abby, no light, yes Abby, yes light. And she's like, come back to me now. Yeah, once again, somehow I don't think this is the real Abby. Maybe this is once again the same fake Abby we have seen in the end of season 1. Now let's think about it. This moment it kind of looked like there was some kind of a source, like the whole spiderweb went from up to down and it covered everything. And as soon as somebody fucked with this, there were a lot of spiders coming up and like, stay the fuck away from here because we are not here to play games. We're gonna bite you and I'm gonna bite you hard. And maybe this fake Abby that attacked Boyd there, she was like, oh, maybe this is not Abby. Maybe this is the big bad of this place that is being safeguarded by those spiders, whatever they are. And now this big bad wants Boyd to come back in order for Boyd to do like, oh, I'm gonna save you right now from the spider web. Which probably Boyd would do, you know, because he would want to save his wife, but it's not his wife. I don't believe this is his wife. So anyway, let's move forward. We have here a conversation between Tilly, Elgin, Fatima, and this girl. Once again, I don't remember her name. I'm not gonna call her Moran because she's nice, But you know, like after a couple of thousand movies that I have seen, usually in the end of the movie, when they want to like reveal the mystery guy who was behind all of this, usually there's a lot of scenes with this guy just standing in the background, like eating seeds is the best time activity. Sorry again, I didn't want to sing. I'm sorry for your ears. If you need a couple of minutes to stop the bleeding, please do so. But you know, like now after this shot, I'm gonna start looking at other scenes and I'm gonna start looking for this girl. Maybe there were other important moments when she was lurking in the background. Now here we have the witch moment. She's like, "You're gonna be a great mom." How do you know? "Oh, sweetie, I've had 47, just like the radio station, I had 4 kids and 7 grandchildren." Did you now, huh? You're lying to me. Tell me please that you're lying to me, because I can see that you're lying to me, and doesn't matter how many, 47 or 470 children you had. Fatima is basically like 2 weeks in her pregnancy, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know, like a month. Nobody's gonna be able to see it. Nobody, not even the most professional doctor in the world. But you see this. And once again, if it was a singular moment with nothing else, and she would say like, "Oh my god, I had like 7 children and 25 grandchildren," we would be like maybe a little bit suspicious. But not when she's saying 4 and 7, a couple of minutes after we have seen 4-7 on the radio station. Something is very, very fishy about Tilly. Maybe she's not like the biggest of the bads. She didn't like come to this place in order to torture everybody and just see from the inside what's happening. Maybe not, maybe yeah, of course, it can happen, but there's definitely something here with her. Either some kind of a big secret that's very much related to this place, or as I told you, she is one of the inside people. She is here in order to bet on some ponies, and ponies here are our heroes. So when we move forward, let's discuss that they touch, they break, they blah blah. We coming back to the beginning of the episode, and this guy, the moron, he is basically telling that when he tried to wake up his girlfriend, she was singing, "They touch, they break, they steal, no one here is free." Once again, I'm sorry for your ears. Anyway, let's move forward because I have some conclusions, but we need to move forward a little bit. So Elgin here, as soon as he hears that Fatima is pregnant, she's once again having his deja vu moment and he's remembering his dream. "I just remembered my dream, everybody." And he's like, "This whole time I felt like there was something that there was a reason why I had that dream on the bus." Obviously, nobody just having a dream and then stops the bus and then like going puking on Randall and on the floor and on everybody and like then having a seizure on the floor. This just doesn't happen. So it obviously was a special dream. Special. I'm sorry, I'm like Fatima, I'm losing my teeth probably. And like there was something I was supposed to remember. And I don't know, but when Fatima said she was pregnant, and this is a weird trigger. And now I can see where are all the theories about Fatima and Alice being Elgin's parents are coming from, because what else can be used as an explanation of this moment? We have also seen Elgin in episode 6 saving Alice, like almost remembering this moment, and he knew exactly what he needs to do in order to save maybe his father. I don't know. Once again, not a big fan of this theory. It's kind of feel like some kind of telenovela, like, oh, everybody's father, sister, brother, mother, neighbor, whatever. So I don't want this show to become like this, but you know, if it's gonna be done properly, then why not? And yeah, the boy in white, so the dream that Elgin was having in the beginning of the second season, he saw the boy who was dressed all in white because the fucker doesn't have any other clothes. And he kept repeating the same phrase over and over. "Here they come for free, unless you stop the melody." And once again, let's discuss the boy in white here coming to Elgin and giving him tools in order to fight the forces that Boyd is gonna bring from the forest. And it happened when Boyd was just stuck in the forest. He was just in the well. He didn't even meet Martin. Okay, but the boy in white was the one who told Sarah to push Boyd inside the faraway tree. So as I told you already, looks like the tiny fucker here is playing chess with everybody. He's like, okay, we're gonna put Boyd here, he's gonna bring the worms are gonna be brought got to the town, but in order to kill the worms, I need to start singing this lullaby to everybody so they will know what to do, because in order for you to stop those demons, you need to stop the music. And that's what Boyd does in the end of the second season, but since we are having a third one, this is not the end. So once again, either Boyd here did exactly what the boy in white wanted him to do, and maybe it's even worse than dealing with those kind of nightmares, or maybe still the boy in white somehow pushing forward our guys in order to escape this place, and it was just another achievement, something that brought them closer to escaping. It can be either way here, or really bad, or good, but not yet, like not everything is achieved there. Now, when we are also talking about the nursery rhyme, suddenly Bacta there, once again, it's not her mother, it's not her father, it's grandmother, she's the one who used to sing it to me. Now, once again, let's try to put our thinking caps on our head, because it drives me a little bit insane. We're talking here about Fromville, a place where no one can escape it, okay? Maybe only Eloise. And it probably happened only 40 years ago. And suddenly, a couple of days ago, Mr. Boyd here brought some demons, some worms, that in order for us to stop them, like there's like a really effective tool for you to fight those demons. It's called the lullaby, but the free, and stop the melody. It is connected, it's not just a piece of folklore. But somehow, Bacta's grandmom knew this one and she was singing it to her. So was she in Fromville? Or maybe it's somehow related once again to this hoodoo rituals. Like, thank you very much, Terran, once again in the live on Reels Challenge. He told me about hoodoo, and once another thing that being used in hoodoo is the bottle trees in order to trap the spirits. And we can see that Bacta is obviously African American, and this is coming from an African American community in the South of America. So maybe her grandma was some kind of I don't know, like a magician. I don't know how it's called, like I wouldn't say witch because it's kind of derogatory, but somebody from like a hoodoo craftswoman. I need to stop this video and look in Google how would you say it. So basically she's like a shaman or something like this, maybe, and then it will basically tell us that this place is affected by hoodoo magic. It's kind of logical. Once again, it's related to American history, it's related to things that we have seen already, like the bottle trails, so maybe it does. So maybe the big bad is something we need to look for in the hoodoo rituals, in the hoodoo mythology, in the hoodoo lore. So yeah, when we move forward, and we almost finished already, the final scene we're gonna discuss today is Marielle seeing the cicadas when nobody sees them, and we've seen this already a couple of times with the worms. Suddenly everybody could see them as soon as it was needed for Boyd to transfer his blood to Smiley. Everybody started to see those worms, so it feels like once again either two dimensions are sometimes collapsing, sometimes not. Somebody can experience them, somebody can't. Or maybe here it's just once again those forces can basically decide who sees them and when and why. But the most interesting thing here in this moment is of course her eyes, and we discussed this a little bit already, but her eyes are exactly like monsters' eyes when they attack. So does it mean that when monsters attack, this is some force just like those demons are basically taking control of them and ripping people apart? And it's not exactly them, it's just something that basically controls them. So you like think about it like once again, we talked a bit about supernatural, like being possessed by a demon. You can like walk around, do some things, and maybe at some point the demon's gonna take complete control of you, and then it's gonna do whatever it wants with you. Or it can just sit there and wait for any like specific moment. So maybe it's something similar to this. Once again, I'm not thinking that Supernatural have the answers. It's different shows, very different shows. But I'm just giving it for the sake of an example, and I hope it helps. Thank you so much for the analysis. Now let's as usual finish this video with your voice, your comments. And I have here too, like Demo LT40W. I think the rhyme is about the slow walkers. They touch, break, steal. The walkers are always touching things. Smiley on the bus, inside colony house, breaking things to get a franc inside the box etc. and stealing things. They have a lot of items, heard it in the caves. No one here is free. I think it's a reference to the fact that even the monsters are trapped. Also, really good to see you on real stream for other day. Thank you so much, it was really fun, and thank you so much for noticing that no one here is free. Is basically saying that nobody here is free, even the forcers that are basically torturing, they want to escape. This is what brought me talking about the whole like spider nest with Abby being trapped there. Thank you so much for your comment, and thank you so much for noticing this. Now, I think Victor and Ethan are basically the same person, but in different timelines, and so is their mother. That's why we see the bracelet on Tabitha and Victor's mom. Also, Ethan and Victor have one thing in common: they do not seem to want to leave this place. I noticed this too, but lately we can see that Ethan kinda wanna leave. He's like, I don't want to play this anymore, this is not a quest, this is not fun. He's worried about his father, he thinks he's gonna die. Once again, something here is a bit like worrying, because he wasn't that worried when Jim was trapped under the house, but now he's worried. He's way more worried. I don't think there is anything here, but we can see that Ethan is breaking. Okay, he doesn't want to be in this place anymore. Now, thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If you liked it, please feel free to push the like button, subscribe, whatever you want. Like, do whatever you want. If you want to somehow support this channel via YouTube or via Patreon, once again, after you've taken care of everything, like your family, your friends, your relatives, your, I don't know, some people on the streams that you care about, and your favorite charity, and then you have like maybe $2, $5 left, you're like, I want to support this guy. Only then, and only if you really want. I say those words because this is the only way for me to feel comfortable with even having those kind of like donation platforms like Patreon and here the membership on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you on the next one, the last rewatch we're gonna have before September 22nd. I don't know how about you, but I'm super excited. I'm getting ready, I'm warmed up, I have my magnifying glass, and I'm ready to do the first analysis of episode 1 season 3. But first, the season finale of season 2, and this is gonna be the next one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.